There we go. Good morning. I know I've got it at a funny angle, but I was trying to get the natural light in there. There we go.
They look like we're in a fun house.
Now, do you want me to go get the light?
No, that's good.
I can turn the light on. Waste our solar. That's funny that I think that way about waste and solar. It's not like we can store an abundance of it. Like, don't do that and waste the solar. You got to use it where you got it.
That's right.
Good morning. How are you this morning? Hmm.
Hope everybody's doing well.
And if you're joining us for the very first time, we apologize. We don't have anything scripted. This is just live coffee with friends. That's it. That's nothing more, nothing less. We make no promises, and we encourage you to look up for verification anything that we say for truth. Just so you can double check on your own. But anyhow, I'm Amber,
I'm Tim.
and we are two of the five Bradshaw family members that moved from Pawleys Island, South Carolina, in the city in our HOA community to off grid in the mountains here in East Tennessee. And I'm hoping they're not having any issues. See the shadow all over me? I don't like that. Whoops. Hang on just a second. We're having tech issues. There. Hopefully the shadow from the computer. Good morning, Sherry. How are you, honey? Sherry, we haven't talked a whole lot this week. It must be smooth sailing on the weather front because you normally my weather girl. Except for extreme heat.
Yeah, we're about due for a thunderstorm, I believe.
Good morning, Daddy. Good morning, y'all. I hope we have a thunderstorm soon.
Thunder boomer.
So, how are y'all doing this week? Y'all doing good? It's been crazy hot here with no rain. How are our water cisterns holding up?
They're getting low.
I figured as much because how
Yeah,
many days has it been without
I
rain?
can't count that far.
Sherry would know. Sherry, how many days has it been without rain? It's been a skinny minute. And normally, this area is like it stays very green and it keeps us well supplied with water. There's very few times that our cisterns run empty. And if you don't know, we do live off grid and we rely heavily on our rainwater collection for our way of life here.
Yeah, we even
Especially, I'm sorry, go ahead.
we filled our pool with rainwater.
Yes, and that's over 4,000 gallons.
It's actually 5,500 gallons.
Oh, well, we'll be
Yeah.
corrected.
So I put a nice little piece of tin on the roof, and when we get a heavy rain, it just it comes off of the roof and goes straight into the pool. It's amazing. We can get you know hundreds of gallons of water and in
A
one
short
rain.
period of time.
Yeah. So
But we use the rainwater for everything. Matter of fact, sorry, I had to let the dogs out. Um, I can't say that without going in my head. Woo, 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 woo.
I don't have a problem.
Sorry.
I don't even think about it anymore.
Okay. Uh, Last Monday night hit hard here unexpectedly. The rain. Well, like I said, it's been a skinny minute, and we use a lot of rainwater, and we have a lot of collection. We know we use it to feed our livestock. We use it for our dogs. We use it. Well, we boil it and use it for showers. We use it for everything. And now too, we're back to finally washing clothes again. And we should have done it a long time ago. Just we had construction and everything on the porch, so we didn't. Timmy's still working on the roof and everything, the roof system. I'm going like this because it's literally right here in front of me, but you all can't see it on our wraparound porch, and that's where we did laundry. So just a lot going on, and it was just more convenient. Our topic for the day to have our kids take it to the laundromat because they went every week with their work clothes and everything. But we're back to washing our clothes off grid. And when I say that, I mean it in the old school sense. Like we have a washboard and wringer and a clothesline, and we love it. I actually love it. The jeans with buttons, blankets, and real thick towels are a pain in the butt. But other than that, it's very therapeutic.
It gives you time to reflect.
It gives you time to reflect. It's just one of those house chores that our generation, never grew up with. Most of us don't even know how to wash clothes if the washer breaks and you can't get the laundromat. And you think of that the old school way is like way back in the day. And um it's I like it. I think my clothes get cleaner too because you're right there with them. You can see what spots need to be tended to. You can see if there's any tears or rips. You can really address the stinky parts, And you put your stuff in a washing machine, it just gets mixed all in there together and swooshed around, and that's it.
I will say that washboard,
Good
it
morning.
gets your socks and underwear clean. I don't think I've ever, seen a pair of socks that came out of a washing
Glad you
machine
said socks.
as clean as that washboard gets them. So it's,
I do have taken videos of it. I don't know if I have it on this channel or not somewhere of how to use the washboard wringer. And there's really not any science to it, nothing perfection. I will say this though, you've got to be careful of that wringer because if you sag it anywhere, it'll get you painful. It's very painful. Anyhow,
hmm.
moving forward about the rain. This is, today's topic. I kind of haphazardly picked it, but it was just choosing the life of convenience and at what cost. We've talked about this a lot.
I think that's a good topic.
We've talked about this a lot over, our life, and we'll continue because it's not one of those topics that should wear out. And at some point in time that we have to accept that responsibility, even though we've been fooled. And let me explain myself. Convenience, things that hurt us always get introduced as things that will help us. For instance, let's talk about the most common one that we all have is food. It used to be that food was full of nutrients. Everybody had a victory garden or a backyard garden. Everybody knew how to grow food. And then you have the grocery stores, and then less and less people started producing food. And then you have fast food. Now, I remember growing up, we didn't have any fast food in our town. It was an itty bitty town called Linden, and that's what we named our daughter after. And I don't know, I think there is something there now, like a Pizza Hut or maybe a McDonald's. But when the first McDonald's came in, it was in a city away. And it was sold to us fast food as convenience, no longer slaving in the kitchen for hours when you got other stuff to do. Let us do the cooking for you and all of that stuff. Now, the things that we buy that are packaged and processed, they can't even be recognized as food. Legit. Like there's ingredients in the stuff that we eat every day that is not considered food at all. They're just chemicals and toxins, and they are purposely meant to hurt us and cause sickness and obesity.
Well, I mean, if they're banned in other countries, I mean, that's got to tell you something right there.
Yeah, the United States is pretty unique in that situation, as
Yeah.
we allow a plethora of toxic chemicals that are known carcinogens that cause cancer, that cause, Alzheimer's, that cause their neurotoxins in our food, but they're banned in other countries. It's like, man, I thought the United States was the greatest country out there, and it turns out they're trying to kill us, with our own food. And I was watching a study the other day, or I was reading about a study the other day, and they're addictive. So this man went on a 30-day processed only food diet,
Ooh.
and he was healthy eating up until then. And it was a very, I'll see if I can find that study. I don't know if I saved it or not, but it was a very documented study. It was a controlled environment study. And so he would eat, and they would take all his vitals. They would weigh him. Not only did he gain 14 pounds in 1 month, but he also became lethargic. He had started having sickness. They also show they were testing his brain,
Cognitive
his
functions.
cognitive functions. But they were
Wow.
also seeing every time that he ate processed foods, the part of your brain that gives you like that reward sensation, for would go off. So his brain was rewarding him with positive feelings for eating bad food. Same thing with sugar and about it being addictive and everything else. And he found that he was more hungry. The food, even though higher in caloric intake, was not satisfying him
Hmm.
physically,
Yeah.
meeting his nutritional needs, and he was eating more often. And then you enter, if you just think about it, we were talking about today, y'all remember growing up when you were in public school, you'd had one fat kid, just one. Now, being overweight, and myself included, I'm right there with them, is the majority. And if you see a skinny person, they're the minority. Most of us too. We go see somebody skinny. It's like, honey, you need to eat. You're too skin and bones. You ain't got no meat on your body. You need to eat something. Here's a biscuit and gravy.
Mm.
You're gonna have a Twinkie. And it's sad. And we don't even see it happening until it's too late. And then we are sick. I was telling my friend Jashar this week, we were talking about sickness. And I said, and then people losing weight and everything. I said, people will do anything to lose weight other than eat right and exercise.
Yeah. It's too involved.
It's too much trouble. It's not convenient. Or if they did, because they want to either get the surgery, get the lap band, get the lipo, take a pill. There's these shots now. I can't remember what they're called. But if you get the shots, they literally destroy your stomach. So you don't want to eat. You'll lose weight. You'll lose weight.
Well, that's basically starving yourself there.
I didn't say how you lose weight. I just said you lose weight. But you think about it too, with when the public schools were introduced, way back in the day, it wasn't all just because parents were uneducated to teach the children. It's our responsibility to teach our own children. But now you have parents using the public school system as babysitters. And the teachers will tell you, I mean, they'll all tell you, there's not one teacher out there that won't say that parents don't use schools as babysitters. Not one. Unless they don't have a bunch of students. And, we've passed on that responsibility of teaching our children anything, whether it be spelling, math, history, values. We all get mad at the public school system. What?
No, I remember my going to school. My daddy, I was young. I shouldn't have been riding a bicycle. And we lived, we didn't live, it was probably about 3 miles from the school. And my dad said, "Boy, you going to school." They let me ride a bicycle, cross the highway, go to school, come home, and they basically, I guess they raised me after 3 o'clock. They did all their raising after three.
Yeah, you get home, you go outside, play, and come in when dinner's ready, wash up, watch TV, and go to
Yeah.
bed. Yeah, that's we personally have made lots of parenting mistakes. So we're not sitting here pointing the finger at anybody without, knowing that we bear that responsibility as well. But I mean, as a society, we are always expecting other people to do it because it's convenient. It's too inconvenient. It's too hard. Or the most recent, not recent, but the biggest lie that we're being told is we're not qualified. You're not qualified to raise your own food. You're not qualified to make your own health decisions. The government needs to do that for you. You're not qualified to know what's good and bad for you food wise. The government's going to tell you what foods you can and cannot eat. You're not qualified to teach your children. We have to teach your children, and you don't have a say at what they learn in public school. I mean, the list goes on and on. Or you're not qualified for your own health. You didn't go to medical school. The doctors need to decide and tell you what is good for you and what you need to do.
That's where we're at.
Where, you kind of start to think about it. It's like, when did we lose that control? When when did it happen? It wasn't overnight. And Timmy and I were talking about that movie. What was the name of it?
Wally.
Wally. It's an animated movie. If y'all haven't seen it, you gotta
I cried.
see it. It's a tearjerker. And it was made years ago. I remember watching it when Morgan and Gavin were little. I can't remember. It's not like decades old, but it's been out for a skinny minute. And the movie was all about what we're talking about today. It takes place in the future ish, not too far off, where robots and AI are in control of everything. People are all morbidly obese. They don't walk around anymore. They sit in a chair all day. All of their food is processed. Robots wait on them. They've got the little goggles on their eyes, the ones that came out not too long ago. Can't remember about Apple or whatever. The virtual life,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
you know, and they're all on phones and stuff. And mind you, when that movie was made, these weren't around. And they didn't talk anymore. Everything was digital, kind of like we're doing now. And the people were just, you know, they were living, but they weren't alive. And then here comes this little robot Wally that tries to change the world. And there's no more plants. There's no more beautiful earth. It's art imitating life. Or now we have life imitating art. Sorry, hon, we have to go and meet up with Robert and Allie. Love you. Love you guys. Tell Robert and Allie that we love them and give them big hugs for us. That's my brother and sister. And my dad is on here, and he and Joyce are coming to visit us Wednesday. I keep thinking Monday, but it's Wednesday, and we haven't seen him in a year, so we're really excited. Even if it's only for a couple of days, it's good to see your family. But anyways, back with Wally, is that their little robot, you know, he's developed cognitive function, you know, he's evolved, and he tries to bring humans back together. And Wally himself can't talk. It's just a little robot. But anyhow, and I was telling Timmy today, I said how much that movie's coming to reality.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna see if I can explain this. It's amazing that the technology that has been developed right now that's not even out there yet. They're holding on to it until that certain time comes, and then they'll release it.
Oh, you
And I
mean the
think
Neuralink?
if you think about it, just that movie Wally, the technology that was already they had then, and it's almost like, well, we'll just wait till we'll
Slow
give them
release.
20 more years and we'll release this, and it's almost, you know,
Let me tell you something, y'all.
they keep giving us a little bit more along and along, and
It's you boil the frog slowly.
yeah,
And you know, evil is very patient.
it is.
Evil is very patient. They see the long game. You know,
They do.
we're very impatient. That's why the convenience that's killing us is working so well. Because we're impatient. We want that instant gratification. You know, that's another thing too. And they've done so many studies of how these are addictive. It's like this dopamine high. You know, when you're scrolling, you watch that little 50-second video or 10-second video, and you know, you get that dopamine high, and then you flip to the next one and the next one and the next one, and you know, 2 hours later, you know, your fingers are sore, and you have all this useless knowledge, and then you're feeling tired enough to go to sleep or what have you. But yeah, evil is very patient. They see that long game, and they know evil's willing to wait 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, 1,000 years to make their plan come to fruition.
Yeah.
And here we are in that pot of wool.
And they're
Water.
The way they're doing it, they're starting. It's the younger generation. They're starting younger and younger.
Oh my gosh,
I
yeah.
mean, you got 3 years old that can, get on a phone and
Use a phone better than we can.
Go to an app and download something. It's amazing that what we've been exposed to. And
It's sad too. I watched a video.
It's all on video.
It was showing these toddlers that were sleeping and going, you know, they were programmed even while they were sleeping. And now you have that neuro link that they've already implanted this first successful chip. I think they've done way more than one, but and they're selling it as convenience for people that are disabled so they can communicate and have that quality of life. Who does that not sound good to? I mean, you'd be a
Yeah.
schmuck if you said, "Well, I don't want them to have quality of life. I don't want them to have access." I mean, of course,
Yeah.
But now they're introducing a step further. There was that lady that had the graph on her arm. You've got the people that got the chip that can pay for their food. How convenient is that? No longer will your identity get stolen because it's implanted in you and yada yada. They're always introducing it and rolling it out as convenience. And we're buying it.
We are. And that's the world today. I mean, I don't even know if it's possible to,
Reverse?
yeah, what's already been set in motion. It's
I think it is, but in a very we can't think broad global scale. We have to think very small scale type. You need to find your tribe and connect with them. It's all about creating community and start to encourage one another because y'all, it's hard. It's hard to break the sugar habit. It's hard to break the processed food habit. It's hard to break the it's hard to willingly, knowingly want to take control back over these things that you know is going to be harder, that you know is going to be more labor intensive, that you know that's going to take your time because we're selfish people, away from those that we gave power to and start to do them yourself. So we have to encourage each other. For instance, again, my friend Jashar sent me a picture yesterday of all these green beans that she canned
mhm.
in these quarts, and she goes, a labor of love. And she goes, oof, it's a lot of work. I'm
Yeah.
like, it is. You've got to plow the fields. You have to sow the fields. You have to take care of any bugs, pests, insects, or whatever. Then you got to harvest the beans. Then you got to pick them, clean them, blanch them, put them in prepare all the canning jars. You know how much easier it is to go to Wally World and just buy canned beans versus, uh, versus doing all that. It's a lot of work. And sometimes you sit there going, is it worth it? Is it? Isn't it just easier to go to the store and buy it yourself? Isn't it just more economical? I mean, they're on sale for 68 cents a can. I think a lot of inventions are made for good, but ends up being used for evil. Well, there's truth in that too, Tammy. I don't think that anyone like of a person like us has an invention that we think that will make people's life easier. I would hope that it wouldn't have evil intentions, but Satan certainly takes it and turns it evil, doesn't he? Of the government.
Mm.
But it is, and so I think we can take it back in small batches to make a difference. And it just starts with the realization of the parts of our convenience of our life that are making us sick. And
Yeah.
slowly try to take that back. For instance, like your food or all of the electronics that you're using around you that could be making you sick that you're unaware of, or all of the toxic chemicals that you're using to clean. We don't watch much TV, y'all. We got antenna and we get like 3 channels, 4 on a good day if the earth is turned the right way. And we'll watch it at night sometimes, not even very often, but I like watching Wheel of Fortune. And we watch the old shows. We got Andy Griffith is what me and Lyndon watched last night, and we got that old show channel. Anyhow, there was a commercial on there for dishwasher
Mm-hmm.
where you don't even have to wash the food off anymore. You can be that lazy. You don't even have to wash the food off. That this chemical will eat the food away on your dishes, even if it's baked on food. And I was asking Timmy, I'm like, how toxic does that chemical need to be for you and the environment to eat away the food on your plate?
Yeah. I mean, Anyone that's had a dishwasher and has used one, that there's a strainer in it, so you can't leave big food particles on dishes when you put. That's why you rinse them. And
Well, even when you're hand washing, big time, it takes a
so
lot of scrubbing.
yeah, and that's just another ploy to sell us something
That's bad for
that
us.
is bad for us, but it doesn't matter because it gets the dishes clean.
And it's
So
convenient. Yeah, you don't got to scrub. You ain't got to do
yeah,
nothing. You can just be lazy and put them all in
that's
there like
right.
that. And you don't even think for a moment going, after I use those chemicals in my dishwasher, where do they go? Okay, so they go out my drain. That's where most of the knowledge that stops if people even think that far of where do those chemicals go. And then those that want to think further than that, it's like, okay, they go into, the public sewage. Then where does it go? To a treatment plant. Okay, from the treatment plant, where does it go? Where do the people get the water from? After they treat it, where does it go to? Oh, it goes back in your lake and your waterways, your aquifer. It goes back in there. Well, what are those chemicals doing to the aquatic life? What are those chemicals doing? We get a lot of our oxygen from our water sources. And so you've got to think about the bigger picture. But of course, the powers that be don't want you to think about those things. They don't want you to put two and two together, that they are creating something that is harmful for us. They're trying to sell it as convenience.
Yeah.
And they know. I understand, Tammy, what you were saying is a lot of people create inventions that don't know. But those people with those toxic chemicals that can't even be in the same building with them without a full hazmat suit on, they know. You can't tell me that they don't know. Just like those people that are spraying all the junk in the air on your crops and everything, they know.
Yeah. Well, I guarantee you, when they're creating it in a lab, they've got those suits on, and they
They
aren't
can't even
breathing.
handle
They aren't
it.
breathing it.
That
They aren't getting
air.
it on them. They've got gloves. They're fully protected, and then they're going to sell it to you, and you're going to use it to clean your food off your plates and dishes.
And then put your hot
I
food on
mean,
there and just get those chemicals right back in your food.
well, the old timers, they just take their plates and their dishes
No,
and
I'm a little, I'm a little
let the
great.
dogs lick them off, and then get them clean and then wash them.
Yeah, and it's y'all, and I will say this, when we talked about this before, when we were living in Pawleys Island, we were living a much healthier lifestyle than we are here. And I know that sounds weird because now we're in the middle of the Smoky Mountains. We, are raising our own food. We've got all this greenery around us. We're not by the city anymore, and all of this stuff. I know it's crazy, but we were living healthier when we were in Pawleys Island.
Yeah, we were.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And we came here to live better, and convenience and lack of time and convenience sold us on reverting back to a lot of our old ways that were unhealthy for us, and we are dealing with the consequences of those decisions, whether it be poor health, fatigue, which all this goes with health, basically, lack of energy, all of those things just for convenience. And it's hard to make that conscious decision to go back to the way, at least to where we were. We're always going to strive to be better, but at least to get back to where we were. Do y'all struggle with that? I know we're not alone in it.
No, I think we all struggle with that, and that's very true. Here we are.
But it's not all want. It's not all point the finger. It is, we do have to accept some responsibility at some point in time, even though we've been sold a bunch of commercials, even though we've been programmed for decades. At some point in time, and I've told my mom not too long ago, and I say this to a lot of people that go to the doctor, and I'm not saying I believe in Western medicine. I've had 12 surgeries, right? There is a time and a place, but we also have to accept responsibility for our own health. We also have to do our due diligence, and don't let any doctor tell you that your years and years of studying health and internet research and reading books and books is nothing compared to their college degree, because that's a bunch of bunk. You are responsible for your own health. You are responsible for the decisions that you make, whether to follow their advice or not. And their advice is no different than anybody else's advice. It's advice, and make your own decisions. At some point in time, we have to accept responsibility and actively choose to make a difference, make a change.
Yeah.
And the results of making the change, a better quality life all the way around, a better spiritual life, a better physical life, a better mental life, a better, carbon footprint life, all of it. It's all, that full circle.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that.
There's a lot that goes into it. And a better life for your family, your children.
Yeah. And
I think it's just, with thinking about that movie Wally, humans weren't even walking anymore. They were all in little chairs, and and it's, if you ever go to a store and you see all them scooters and people running around in them, we're probably not far off from that movie coming to full fruition. And it's getting, because it's just getting, constantly getting worse. And but and I was sitting here laughing because I'm that way. We go to Dollywood, I have to get a scooter after my knee replacement. I can't walk a long distance. And I want to say a lot of that is my own fault. Probably like 90% of it, and it's a hard realization, and it stinks because I've got a 12-year-old daughter I want to be out there running with and playing with and everything else. So I also have to allow myself forgiveness. I'm not going to beat myself up every day, but it is my responsibility to make this, actively decide to make the change, to change those, not keep going with the status quo.
well, I mean, at least you don't just push it off and go, well, this is it. But
Yeah, this is it. This is the
a
car.
lot of folks don't look at it like that, accept that responsibility, and realize that they could have, you know, made changes, and that's where it gets tough, because we keep going down that same road, and before we know it, we are in that wheelchair permanently, and we're bedridden, and
And you let life pass you by.
yeah,
I've seen a lot of people.
so it gets tough.
Our chickens are being run off the porch by our dogs. I don't mind that they chase them off the porch. I don't want it there, but it does get tough because we had parents that said, "Oh, later, later, later. I'll do this later. I'll do this later. I'll do this later." And then later came, and they were too unhealthy to do it, and the opportunity was completely gone. It was completely gone. I can't stand that retirement mentality. I'll do that when I retire. I'll wait till I'm retired and do it. You're not going to be guaranteed retirement. You better grab that bull by the horns right now.
Well, yeah, and I've thought about that, and I think that is something that we are just led to give us hope and to something to look forward
The
to.
carrot on the stick.
And in their mind, they're going, chances are that day's never going to come.
You think? I think people all put the
No,
eggs in
I'm
that
not talking. I'm
retirement
talking
basket.
what was created
Oh,
for
I
us.
gotcha.
It's just an illusion. And I know there's people who reach retirement and they go to Boca del Vista and spend the rest of their life, and
Sipping margaritas by the beach.
go out to lunch and have dinner at 4 o'clock, and that's fine. But
I like having dinner at 4 o'clock. I know I'm making light of it, but I get
that's just
what you're
another way
saying.
they've created this, giving us hope and something that we may never reach. And
But the Bible never talks about retirement. It never
Yeah.
says that we're supposed to stop working. Only one time does it mention it for one specific person, and I can't remember his name right now, so I shouldn't have even brought it up. But where he said, basically, you've done well, my faithful servant. Go ahead and rest. But nobody else gets to retire. You work it up until the day. If you're live and kicking, we got a job to do. And just like Tammy said, when you make that decision to start taking the control back of those things that you have given control to other entities for, it is harder. It is more rewarding. It is more satisfying. You feel better. You have better health. Regardless of your health situation, if you change your way of living, you might not be able to cure whatever it is that you've got, but you will make a significant improvement. And we all don't do it, I think, one, because we're built in lazy, we're built in instant gratification, and also is because we've been told that lie that we can't, right? Or we don't know where to start. But if you do, it's very like that whole teach a man to fish thing versus giving them the fish, and you appreciate it more.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking that the whole food industry and health, um, the doctors and everything, all of that's connected.
Oh
And
yeah,
it
it's money,
starts
money,
it
money.
starts with one and it ends with the other, and they
It's a
make
vicious
money off of
cycle.
it.
Yeah, it's a money thing. It'll get you mad if you start thinking about it. Our
And it's
friend
just us allowing them to have control over our lives.
for
That
convenience.
yeah.
Cupcake Carol
Hmm.
back in
Hmm.
Garden City. I call her Cupcake Carol. All my friends have nicknames. She did these beautiful cupcakes when I first met her, and that's she got the name Cupcake Carol, and there's where it stuck. She really made a life change, a health change. And she's got this app on her phone that scans the barcode for the ingredients, and it tells her what's bad and what's good,
Yeah.
and the ingredients. And she'll grab things that have been passed off as health food,
Yeah.
and they're literally like plasticides, and chemicals that have
Mm.
nothing to do with food or preservation put in the food. And she's like, she'll make some choice words in her
Yeah.
post. It's like, why? And you got to think about why. Why is this? And they'll say, oh, it was because of this and this, and we'll buy it or we won't care. But it's like, why? And she's such a great cook. I want to keep going back to her. You can make that yourself for really easy, and uh but it's even things that are passed off as health food. If you dig even further, they're not. It's all poison.
Well, I mean, when you look at them and just think about it, when you have the color, you have the flavor, and you have the fillers, and you put a name on it, and you open that box and it smells good. I mean, you're like,
Eat it.
it's easy to,
And we're not saying that we're better than anybody else. We're not. We're here to encourage each other. We're on this journey together. We're not finger pointing. We are finger pointing. We're going like this. See, to myself,
yeah,
because I know we're bringing things up that are important to us because we're reflecting. We have our Bible study in the morning. We're together all day long. We talk in the evening. We talk in the morning about the changes that we want to make. Sometimes we act on them and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we act on them and do real good and then we fall back. And we need the support of y'all. You need the support of us. We need that community. And that's why we have this channel, to have that community of like minded people so we can encourage each other. And if we find something that's harmful or helpful, we want to share it with you and we want you to share it with us. And that's how we make a difference. And that's how we make a change. And it starts, that Michael Jackson song, I'm starting with a man in the mirror. It starts with you. If you don't know where to start, reach out to us, join our Mighty Network community. It's free. And I say Mighty Network because we're not censored in there. It is a faith based group, although it's not a prerequisite, but we do have a lot of people sharing prayers and faith in there. And that is a topic all in itself that you can unfollow if that is not your thing, which is completely fine. Then you won't even see it. But they are like minded people that are sharing their knowledge, that are eager to share with you, whether it be making your own condiments, having a recipe to feed your dogs and your livestock, to, hey guys, what plant is best for this rash I've got on my arm? The doctor can't seem to cure it, that type of thing.
You have a rash?
It was just, I was thinking of Linda and getting all those fly bites. But anyhow, so, and it's too, it's like, let's not try to opt for convenience as much and see where we go from there. And you can start small. And if you don't know what I mean by that, for instance, buying bread versus making bread, or buying laundry detergent versus making laundry detergent, baby steps of change, of convenience to remove the things that are bad for us in our life and see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, you've made your laundry detergent have borax and whatever,
Washing soda,
Arm
baking
and
soda.
Hammer
Yeah. It's,
baking soda
and get back to, you know, how we're supposed to live, how we're intended to live with all that other stuff.
yeah.
Convenience equals corruption, in my opinion.
Well, you get sucked into it.
You do, and it's easy.
It is.
So y'all, take that, and you guys go ahead and post anything that you want. We'll come back, we'll see the comments, we'll reply. Might not be the same day. Well, I'll definitely get to it. And even if you have questions or just thoughts on the whole, thing, it's like, convenience is really the destruction, as far as, the fast packaged food, fast packaged life, the instant gratification, and how we get back to the way things would be. And let's start small within our community and see if we can grow from there. Is that it?
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
That's good
Y'all have a
stuff.
blessed day.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for putting up with me today.